UAE, Israel, Bahrain and US sign Abraham Accord. Peace has given another chance in the Middle East as the UAE and Bahrain formally signed the Abraham Accord at White House in Washington, D.C. to establish diplomatic ties with Israel, a historic move to normalize relations with their old foe. The deal, brokered by the US under President Donald Trump ahead of November polls, is considered a major breakthrough to bring stability and prosperity in the region. US President Donald Trump, UAE Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Bahrain Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullatif bin Rashid Al Zayani and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signed the historic agreement. In a video tweet on Tuesday, Sheikh Abdullah said peace is something we should do with a lot of excitement and hope. Today is one of those days. The UAE is so delighted and privileged in playing the role for peace. Not only for us, but for the whole region, Sheikh Abdullah tweeted. The UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation also tweeted that the UAE is so delighted and privileged to play a role for peace. UAE Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed highlights the positive impact of the agreement on the region. According to the tweet, the UAE will be the first country in the Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) and third in Arab world to establish diplomatic relations with Israel after Egypt and Jordan. The peace deal will end the UAE's economic boycott of Israel and open new business and investment opportunities in the region. Accord will revive the peace process. Meanwhile, Sakr Gobash, Speaker of Federal National Council, has affirmed that the UAE-Israel peace accord is a historic step towards reviving the process of peace in the Middle East and will guarantee the region's security and stability. In a statement issued by the Council on Tuesday, Gobash said FNC stresses that the accord reflects the never-changing principles of Emirati policy, which is its historic legacy and openness towards all countries while achieving its higher strategic interests, as well as its coexistence with different cultures and religions, in line with the values of tolerance it cherishes without prejudice, and its support for national, Arab and Islamic rights, under the framework of international legitimacy and international law. We affirm that this accord represents a good opportunity to resume the regional, international and the United Nations (UN) efforts to achieve fair, comprehensive and permanent peace in the Middle East and guarantee the implementation of UN resolutions and conventions, especially those related to the establishment of a Palestinian state with its capital in East Jerusalem, he said. We, therefore, express our full support for the accord and our political leadership of all subsequent initiatives, resolutions and foreign and international policies, and we highlight our deep trust in the wise approach of President His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Sultan Al Nahyan, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, to managing the nation's affairs and preserving its successes and achievements, he added. Gobash also lauded the leading role of the political leadership in combating all plans aimed at threatening the stability and security of the Arab region while praising its bold steps and strategic initiatives aimed at maintaining joint Arab security and defending legitimate Arab and Palestinian rights to establish a new era of peace and development for the peoples of the region.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, accompanied by the Prime Minister of the State of Israel, His Highness, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the United Arab Emirates, and the Minister of the Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Thank you very much. Please. Thank you. The First Lady and I are honored to welcome to the White House Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel and Mrs. Netanyahu. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. And Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed, United Arab Emirates, UAE. Thank you very much. And Foreign Minister Abdullatif al-Zayani of Bahrain. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're here this afternoon to change the course of history. After decades of division and conflict, we mark the dawn of a new Middle East. Thanks to the great courage of the leaders of these three countries, we take a major stride toward a future in which people of all faiths and backgrounds live together in peace and prosperity. In a few moments, these visionary leaders will sign the first two peace deals between Israel and the Arab state in more than a quarter century. In Israel's entire history, there have previously been only two such agreements. Now we have achieved two in a single month, and there are more to follow. Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain will establish embassies, exchange ambassadors, and begin the cooperate and work together so strongly to cooperate as partners across the broad range of sectors, from tourism to trade and healthcare to security. They're going to work together. They are friends. The Abraham Accords also opened the door for Muslims around the world to visit the historic sites in Israel and to peacefully pray at Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, the third holiest site in Islam.
Our dear friend, President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, thank you for hosting me, my wife Sarah, and our entire delegation on this historic day. I want to recognize Vice President Pence, Secretary Pompeo, National Security Advisor O'Brien, and other cabinet members, Jared Kushner, Avi Berkowitz, Ambassador Friedman, and other members of the President's able peace team, senators, members of Congress, Israeli Ambassador Ron Dermer, his Emirate and Bahraini counterparts, as well as all the dignitaries gathered here on this sunny day. I want to also express my gratitude for all the Israelis who've worked for years, sometimes in less sunny climes, to bring this date, and I thank each and every one of you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, this day is a pivot of history. It heralds a new dawn of peace. For thousands of years, the Jewish people have prayed for peace. For decades, the Jewish state has prayed for peace. And this is why today we're filled with such profound gratitude. I am grateful to you, President Trump, for your decisive leadership. You have unequivocally stood by Israel's side. You have boldly confronted the tyrants of Tehran. You've proposed a realistic vision for peace between Israel and the Palestinians. And you have successfully brokered the historic peace that we are signing today, a peace that has broad support in Israel, in America, in the Middle East, indeed in the entire world. I am grateful to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed, of the United Arab Emirates, and to you, Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed. I thank you both for your wise leadership and for working with the United States and Israel to expand the circle of peace. I am grateful to King Hamad of Bahrain and to you, Foreign Minister Abdullatif al-Zayani, for joining us in bringing hope to all the children of Abraham.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Highness, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the United Arab Emirates.
Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, and my friend Abdullatif Zayani, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me start by conveying the best regards of the UAE people and the leadership, and especially of Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, to you, Mr. President, and everyone gathered here today. I'll continue my speech in Arabic, and I'm sure there will be translation to that. أقف اليوم أمد يد سلام وأستقبل يد سلام. نقول في ديننا الإسلامي: اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام. فالبحث عن السلم مبدأ أصيل، ولكن المبادئ تتحقق فعلاً عندما تتحول إلى أفعال. وها نحن اليوم نشهد فعلاً سوف يغير الشرق الأوسط وسيبعث الأمل حول العالم.
I stand here today to extend a hand of peace and receive a hand of peace. In our faith, we say, "O God, you are peace, and from you comes peace." The search for peace is an innate principle, yet principles are effectively realized when they are transformed into action. Today, we are already witnessing a change in the heart of the Middle East, a change that will send hope around the world.
لم تكن هذه المبادرة ممكنة لولا جهود فخامة الرئيس الأمريكي دونالد ترامب وفريقه الذي سعى بجد وإخلاص لنصل إلى هنا. وهنا لابد لي أن أشير إلى صديقي وزير الخارجية مايك بومبيو، وصديقي جاريد كوشنر كبير مستشاري الرئيس الأمريكي، وكل المخلصين لمبدأ السلام في الولايات المتحدة الذين سعوا لتحقيق هذا الإنجاز الكبير. شكرا لكم.
This initiative would not have been possible without the efforts of His Excellency President Donald Trump and his team, who worked hard and sincerely for us all to reach here. Most notably, my counterpart, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and Jared Kushner, Senior Advisor to the President of the United States, and all those who are genuine about the principle of peace in the United States, who have strived to realize this major achievement. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of the Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Mr. President, the First Lady, Prime Minister, Your Highness, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today is a truly historic occasion, a moment of hope and opportunity for all the peoples of the Middle East, and in particular for the millions in our younger generations. The declaration supporting peace between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the State of Israel is an historic step on the road to genuine and lasting peace. security, and prosperity across the region, and for all who live there, regardless of religion, sect, ethnicity, or ideology. For too long, the Middle East has been set back by conflict and mistrust, causing untold destruction and thwarting the potential of generations of our best and brightest young people. Now, I'm convinced we have the opportunity to change that. Today's declaration was made possible by the vision, courage, and commitment of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, who, supported by the people of Bahrain, has protected, institutionalized, and enhanced Bahrain's centuries-old spirit of coexistence and harmony, and has the wisdom to recognize that genuine cooperation is the most effective means to achieve peace and to safeguard legitimate rights.